In our continuing Money Watch series, The Uncertain Economy, many Americans are nervous about rising costs and what it signals about our nation's economy.
And while we won't know for some time whether the country is in a recession or headed for one, many people fear the worst. According to Bankrate, about 69% of Americans are worried that the U.S. will be in a recession by the end of next year. 41% of people say that if that happens, they are not prepared for it.
Senior economic analyst and Washington bureau chief at Bankrate, Mark Hamrick, joins us now with more. Hi there, Mark. Thanks very much for joining us. So what have you learned about how people are preparing themselves for a possible recession?
It's fascinating, Elaine and Lana, that while we cite that number who are, concerned about the prospect of a recession, the reality is, according to our survey, an even greater percentage of the American population is now taking steps because of that fear. And obviously, we've all been hammered by the high and sustained level of inflation over the last year or so. So the number one thing that people are doing, we hear this from 47% of Americans, is cutting back on discretionary purchases. And commentary we've heard from retail CEOs is they're seeing that in the way that their business is presenting itself. And as a result, they're being left with additional inventory of those discretionary items like clothing. So Americans are changing their behavior patterns, whether there's a recession that's already begun or whether they're fearing one down the road.
It's interesting because the thing that most people are doing, according to that graphic, is spending less on non-essentials. While that could be good for inflation, it could also help prompt the very thing that people are fearing, a recession. So do you think that these are good ideas for people or for the health of our economy? What is the advice that you would give someone that they might not typically think of to do in order to prepare for potentially the worst?
Yes, and I think to the first part of that question is most individuals, most households are in the best position to know what is best for them because we have so many millions of people and households across the country. I do think the first thing that whether someone is sort of trying to gear down with respect to their personal finances and sort of get into that bunker mentality, or whether they think they can make it through unscathed, is to make sure they have a household budget, and now's the time to re-examine that. Secondly, look for savings on necessities and discretionary items. Are there some of those wants that we don't need to purchase right now, and can we focus on needs? And needs are among those things that have been the most expensive in the sense of the pickup of inflation. We know what's happened with energy costs, gasoline prices thankfully coming down recently, but the cost of shelter, that includes rent and mortgage payments, as well as food, well, those are things that are still very costly.
So those are things to do, but I'm curious, Mark, what are some of the biggest mistakes that people make during uncertain economic times like this?
Well, I think, first of all, not having been prepared, right? Because as we've seen with our surveys at Bankrate over many years now, the number one financial regret on the part of Americans is the failure to save for emergencies and the failure to save for retirement. So that is a call to action for us now. We should have been saving for emergencies. We need to be saving for an emergency now because, as we've seen over the past 2.5 years, these things present themselves sort of at a time of their own choosing. We had the loss of 22 million jobs in March and April of 2020. Now we have high and sustained inflation. Another call to action is to pay off credit card debt. The Bankrate average for credit cards right now at 17.5% for the best qualified borrowers. So pay that credit card debt off before the interest accrues in the current billing cycle.
Definitely a good point, particularly on credit card debt, especially as these interest rates continue to rise. All right, Mark Hamrick, thank you.
Thank you.